He's a monster. He's literally a monster.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at the most shocking music scandals that stayed under wraps for years.
He became untouchable in his mind.
Payola. Talent may go far, but money will always go farther.
Remember that Payola scandal in Toledo 2 years ago? My Uncle Bob gets out next month.
For years, people had no reason to question the songs that were played on the radio. They believed that the tracks being played were also the most popular. That changed permanently after they learned of another deciding factor: payola. The now illegal tactic was utilized by labels who paid stations to push certain tunes to the forefront.
Screw payola. See?
It went uncriticized for decades, but investigations held in the late 50s brought it to the public's attention. The fallout was severe, with multiple beloved disc jockeys being called out. It was one of the first huge industry scandals, and it's been satirized by musicians ever since.
Got to pay on the blues, pay on the blues.
Lou Pearlman's Ponzi scheme. He was the man behind several popular groups and their financial woes.
This was one of the biggest times in music history. And what a lot of people don't understand, the man responsible for this was Lou Pearlman.
While he presented himself as the brain behind the boy bands, behind the scenes he was running an insidious scheme. Several of his ensembles suing him was only the tip of the iceberg.
With Backstreet Boys, Brian was livid over this. And he basically said, guys, this is what's up. I want to file a lawsuit.
In 2006, it was discovered that he'd swindled several investors out of upwards of $1 billion. He created fake companies to sell the scam and used his bands to further his own financial interests.
Initially, he was selling stock in a company called Transcontinental Airline Services, Inc. And the representation always was that this was a company that provided all sorts of airline services, totally fictitious.
He was arrested in 2007 and met with swift consequences, including a hefty sentence and bankruptcy. His legitimacy within the pop scene had already been shattered, and this revelation caused people to rethink their favorite act's beginnings.
In a way, he used us to scam other people, and that's horrible.
Pearlman died in prison in 2016. Britney Spears Conservatorship. Fame is often associated with unlimited freedom, especially for those on the A-list.
I think I did it again.
Yet despite having countless hits, Britney Spears hardly got to enjoy the fruits of her labor. After a mental health crisis, it was decided in 2008 she'd be placed in a temporary conservatorship.
Really, the theme of conservatorships is to act in the conservatee's best interest.
Fans soon forgot about this, not knowing that the control over her had been made permanent and that her father was the one pulling the strings. He had control over every aspect of her life, including her finances.
The second thing was, she said, I don't want my father to be the conservator. That was her one request.
It went mostly undetected until the 2020s, when public outrage finally led to it being dissolved, giving the singer her first taste of genuine freedom in 13 years.
So I'm just grateful, honestly, for each day and being able to have the keys to my car and being able to be independent and feel like a woman.
The true nature of Elvis Presley's substance use. He was known for plenty throughout his life, from an unmatched discography to a lavish lifestyle.
Lord Almighty, I feel my temperature rising.
Elvis's impact is undeniable, but he still had plenty of secrets. His vices were known, but the true extent wouldn't be revealed until after his sudden death in 1977.
I just couldn't, believe that he died.
Multiple reports were made, with one claiming he had over a dozen substances in his system during his overdose. A trial in the early 1980s put his doctor in the hot seat, where it was confirmed he'd supplied Presley with thousands of pills.
Did you ever regret giving Elvis all of the pills that he had been taking and that you prescribed? At any point, did you regret it?
No, I don't regret anything that I gave him.
Many were unaware the star had his demons, but learning just how dark they were forced them to put his whole life into a new context. Labels exploiting R&B artists. It can be easy to think that getting a contract is a one-way ticket to a luxurious life, Yet, shady business practices have always prevailed, especially within entertainment. For years, R&B artists were being swindled out of their hard-earned money by the very same corporations that claimed to be uplifting them. Several didn't see any royalties, while the corporations raked in profits. It wasn't until legendary singer Ruth Brown came forward that people realized how many musicians were being taken advantage of financially. She unveiled their predatory practices, including keeping those previously contracted in their debt and charging them for general costs. Her efforts led to more performers advocating for themselves and revealed the bleak side of a seemingly glamorous lifestyle. Phil Spector's violent behavior. For years, Phil Spector was revered for his innovative production and his collaborations with respected entertainers.
Many times I've been alone, and many times I've cried.
But there was more lurking beneath the surface. Accusations of his violence had been circulating since 1990, with past girlfriends and his own children coming forward. Despite those, his reputation survived. That all changed in 2003, when he took the life of actress Lana Clarkson.
As soon as he opened the door, I jumped, went like to the back door, and he was like standing in the door with the gun in the hand.
He was convicted in 2009 and sentenced to 19 years to life behind bars.
Spector escaped conviction in his first trial with a hung jury. This time, jurors came to a verdict, but it was tough.
Given his proximity to other huge names, the public was astounded to learn how long his conduct had been excused and accepted. Jimmy Savile's Misconduct. He may not have released any music himself, but he was still a core figure in music.
Let's hear it for the Rolling Stones.
Savile was known throughout the United Kingdom for hosting Top of the Pops, a show that gave countless stars and songs a platform to grow. There had been rumors about Savile during his tenure, but they paled in comparison to his actual crimes. After he died in 2011, investigations were launched into his past actions. The results were sickening, revealing allegations of abuse from hundreds of people across a 50-year span.
And then there are more people coming forward to us with more evidence. You start getting a picture that things were more widespread, that maybe there were everywhere he'd been, there'd been abuse.
The country was sent reeling, and his name was quickly stripped from several establishments. His legacy was permanently discolored, as practically everything good he'd done was null the moment his proclivities came to light.
Get rid of him. Get rid of the man. He doesn't exist anymore.
Diddy's abuse allegations. His influence is undeniable. Besides his own artistic contributions, Sean Diddy Combs also helped discover several beloved entertainers.
Reminisce sometime, the night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again.
However, beneath his shiny veneer lies something much darker. In 2023 and 2024, he was repeatedly accused of various crimes that occurred several decades previously.
It was really bad. Like, I don't know how any man could hurt another human being that way.
Some of the victims coming forward were teenagers at the time, making the situation even more severe. The allegations resulted in his homes being raided and several companies cutting ties with him.
Fallout continues for rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs tonight as more companies announce they've cut ties with the bad boy CEO.
Although, as of this writing, the claims have yet to be tried in court, the damage has been done. Some are even revisiting his legal troubles from the 1990s, leading them to realize that his behavior, and worse, has been occurring even longer than they originally thought.
What I do need is to know that the people he harmed are going to have their lives restored in some way.
Gary Glitter's abuse. It's hard to believe that at one point, he was considered one of the figureheads of the glam rock scene. He He dominated the airwaves throughout the 70s and into the 80s, and he managed to keep the public eating out of the palm of his hand the entire time. It wasn't until the late 1990s that people learned of his depravity.
I deeply regret doing what I was sent to prison for.
He was found with obscene material on his laptop, and from there, the crimes grew more sickening. Some had taken place during his peak, leading people to realize he'd been using his seemingly positive influence as a way of finding potential victims. As of 2023, he's been committing the exact same offenses, causing him to end up back in jail.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
R. Kelly's misconduct. Few people have had such a dramatic fall from grace. Pre-scandal, Kelly was beloved for his work within the R&B genre, with several hits becoming instant classics.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
His inappropriate relationships with minors had been open knowledge since the 90s, most notably his controversial marriage to Aaliyah.
I'm not proud of that. I had papers forged for them.
Still, he and his career went untouched. He lived life as normal until 2018, when people realized the magnitude of his misdeeds. Several offenses were brought to light, ranging from racketeering to the abuse of minors, which couldn't be ignored anymore.
Earlier today, we handed over a second videotape to prosecutors.
The industry's biggest open secret was officially out, causing him to finally be prosecuted, convicted, and sentenced for the heinous acts he carried out for so long.
This is a significant outcome for all victims of R. Kelly, and especially for the survivors who so bravely testified about the horrific and sadistic abuse they endured.
Which long-buried industry secret shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below.
So often it's like, why? How did this happen? How could this happen? You're telling me that this many people knew this?